She thought he was just being annoying. Every morning, same routine, he'd press his nose against her left side, circle back, sniff again. She'd push him away, tell him to stop, go back to whatever she was doing. Weeks passed, then a month. He never let up, not once, and she almost ignored it completely until a friend said, "What if he's trying to tell you something?" She made an appointment, not because she felt anything, not because there was a symptom she could name, because a dog wouldn't stop sniffing the same spot. The diagnosis changed everything. There's a story a lot of people haven't heard yet. Not because it is rare, but because when it happens, most people chalk it up to coincidence. A dog acting strange. A dog that will not leave you alone. A dog that keeps circling back to the same spot on your body like it is checking something you cannot see. And you push them away. You laugh it off. You assume they are just being a dog. But here's what the science is starting to confirm. What dog owners have suspected for decades. Your dog's nose is operating on a level so far beyond human comprehension that it is actually capable of detecting illness before any visible symptom appears. Before your body gives you a single clue, something is wrong. In this video, we are going to break down exactly how that works. What's happening in your dog's nose? Why certain dogs fixate on specific spots? What the research actually says? Because there is real research conducted at universities and medical institutions, not just anecdotes on the internet. And yes, we'll talk about what you should do if your dog starts behaving in a way that feels different, persistent, or unexplainably focused. Because that behavior might be the most important thing they ever do for you. Let us start with the nose itself. Because to understand how dogs detect illness, you first have to understand how absurdly powerful their sense of smell actually is. Humans have roughly 5 to 6 million olfactory receptors in their nasal passage. That sounds like a lot until you learn that dogs have somewhere between 125 million and 300 million, depending on the dog. But the raw number of receptors is only part of the story. The part of a dog's brain dedicated to analyzing scent is, proportionally, about 40 times larger than the equivalent region in the human brain. So they are not just detecting more. They are processing more, distinguishing more, and identifying things at concentrations so low that our best laboratory equipment has historically struggled to match it. To put it in practical terms, if you were to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool and drop a single teaspoon of a scent compound into it, a dog could detect it. That's not metaphor. That's the actual scale we are talking about. And now here's where it gets medically significant. When cells in your body become cancerous, they produce what are called volatile organic compounds, VOCs. These are tiny chemical byproducts released during abnormal cellular metabolism. They're present in your breath, your urine, your sweat, and the surface of your skin. To us, they are completely undetectable. We cannot smell them. We cannot feel them. We do not know they are there. But to a dog's nose, these compounds are a signal. A chemical fingerprint that something in that tissue is different from everything surrounding it. That's what he was smelling. That's why he kept coming back to the same spot. Short start here's what most people do not understand about dogs sniffing illness. When cells in your body turn cancerous, they release tiny chemical byproducts called volatile organic compounds. They're in your breath, your sweat, your skin. You cannot smell them. You cannot feel them. But your dog can. And not just faintly, their nose has up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our 5 or 6 million. They're not being weird when they will not stop sniffing one spot on your body. They might be doing the most important thing they've ever done for you. Short end. Now, let us talk about the research, because this isn't just feel-good storytelling. In 2004, a landmark study published in the British Medical Journal documented the ability of dogs to identify bladder cancer patients with a success rate significantly above chance, based solely on urine samples. The dogs had no training beyond basic conditioning to indicate a positive result. They were not specialized breeds. They were ordinary dogs taught a simple signaling behavior, and they correctly identified cancer samples at rates that couldn't be explained by random chance. Since then, the research has accelerated. Studies out of the University of Pennsylvania's Working Dog Center have examined how dogs detect ovarian cancer through tissue samples. Research published through Pine Street Foundation in California documented dogs detecting breast and lung cancer through breath samples with sensitivity rates as high as 88 to 99% in controlled conditions. A study in Germany trained dogs to detect colorectal cancer with 97% accuracy. And ongoing research is now exploring whether dogs can detect Parkinson's disease, diabetes, certain bacterial infections, and even COVID-19 through smell alone. Think about what that means. A dog's nose is, in some cases, outperforming the early-stage diagnostic capability of current medical screening tools. Not every time, not in every context, not reliably enough yet to replace medicine, but the ceiling on this is still unknown, and the floor is already remarkable. But here's the thing nobody talks about in those headlines. Those were trained dogs who went through months of conditioning, controlled environments, standardized samples. What about your dog? The one sitting on your couch right now who's never been through a single day of medical detection training. This is where the science gets quietly fascinating. Dogs do not need training to detect scent. They need training to communicate what they've detected. That's a crucial distinction. A trained medical detection dog has learned to sit, paw, or signal in a specific way when it identifies a target odor. Your untrained dog at home detects the same odors, they just do not have a standardized way to tell you about it. So instead, they do what dogs do. They investigate, they fixate, they circle, they sniff the same area repeatedly. They follow you into rooms they normally wouldn't. They press their nose against a specific part of your body and refuse to move on. That behavior in isolation looks like nothing. It looks like a dog being weird. But when it is persistent, when it happens day after day, with the same focus, on the same spot, that pattern is worth paying attention to. There are dozens of documented stories that follow the same arc. A dog who wouldn't stop nosing at someone's lower abdomen for weeks, pancreatic cancer. A dog who kept jumping up and pressing its nose to a woman's neck, thyroid malignancy. A dog who would lie with its head on the same side of its owner's chest every single night, completely out of character, early-stage lung cancer detected on a subsequent scan. These aren't all peer-reviewed case studies. Some are accounts shared by oncologists, some by the patients themselves. But the pattern across them is consistent enough that the medical community has stopped dismissing it entirely. So what about other illnesses, not just cancer? Dogs have been reliably documented, detecting hypoglycemic episodes in diabetic owners before the person experiences any conscious symptom. The dog begins alerting, pawing, whining, circling, jumping, sometimes 20 to 30 minutes before blood sugar drops to a dangerous level. Researchers believe they are detecting subtle chemical changes in breath or skin secretions tied to glucose metabolism. Many diabetic owners now rely on their dogs as an informal early warning system, and formal diabetic alert dog training programs are built entirely on this naturally existing ability. Dogs have also been documented alerting to oncoming seizures. The mechanism here is less understood. Some researchers believe it is chemical, related to changes in body odor that precede neurological events. Others think dogs are picking up on microbehavioral changes, tiny shifts in movement, posture, or eye contact that occur before the person is aware anything is happening. It's probably both. Whatever the mechanism, the real-world reliability is high enough that seizure-alert dogs are now medically recognized service animals. And then there's the quieter, harder-to-study phenomenon dogs who seem to sense general decline. Owners with progressive illness who report that their dog's behavior shifted months before a formal diagnosis. Dogs who began sleeping closer, following more, staying alert during the night. Not trained, not conditioned, just responding to something their nose told them before any doctor had a name for it. Short start people ask all the time, can my dog actually tell if something is wrong with me? And the honest answer is probably more than you realize. Dogs do not need training to detect chemical changes in your body. They detect them automatically. They just need training to tell you about it in a way you understand. So when your dog fixates on a spot, sniffs the same place over and over, will not let it go, they are not being strange. They're giving you information. The question is whether you are listening. Short end, here's what this means practically. Because information without application is just interesting trivia. If your dog begins showing unusual, persistent interest in a specific area of your body, that's worth taking seriously. Not as a definitive diagnosis, not as panic material, but as a signal to seek medical evaluation. Your dog is not capable of lying to you. They're not anxious or attention-seeking when they do this. Anxiety and attention-seeking produce scattered, generalized behavior, not focused, location-specific investigation. There's a difference between a dog that's clingy because you've been traveling and a dog that will not stop pressing its nose to the same place on your ribcage every morning. The distinction matters. You're also not obligated to tell your doctor that your dog noticed something first. You can simply say you've been having some discomfort and want to rule things out. The entry point doesn't matter. The checkup does. And there's a broader lesson here about what it means to live with a dog. We tend to think of the relationship in terms of what we give them: shelter, food, care, love. But they are in a constant state of attending to us. Their nose is running a continuous background analysis of our bodies, our stress levels, our emotional state, our physical health. They know things about us before we know them ourselves. The relationship isn't just companionship. It's a form of biological partnership that we are only beginning to scientifically understand. The woman in the story at the beginning of this video, she got checked. The diagnosis was early stage. The outcome was good, not because she had symptoms, not because her doctor flagged anything, because a dog kept sniffing the same spot and someone finally decided that was worth paying attention to. That dog didn't have any training, didn't go through any program, didn't know what a VOC was or what cellular metabolism meant. He just knew something was different, and he wouldn't stop saying so. That's not a miracle. That's a nose doing exactly what it was built to do. If this video made you look at your dog a little differently, good. That's the point. Because the connection between you and your dog runs deeper than most of us stop to consider. They're not just keeping you company. They're paying attention to you in ways that are genuinely remarkable. So the next time your dog acts a little strange, sniffs the same place twice, 3 times, keeps coming back to it, do not just wave them off. Notice it. And if it becomes a pattern, take it seriously. Go get checked. Not because your dog is a doctor, but because their nose might be telling you something your body hasn't found words for yet. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, scan the QR code on the screen right now to subscribe and join the Pawsome Life family. Give your dog a belly rub for us, and we will see you in the next video.